All right, here we go again. As always, me getting on here and looking around and trying to find. Okay, there's where it's at. If I set it down and I use my left hand to set it down usually, and use my right hand to set it down usually, not a problem. But right here on this side, I'm just a little cramped because I got a kitty right here on the blanket now. So I'm a little cramped on this side. So I will tend to do more left side. But when I come back and sit down, and I've gone, I've obviously done something because I'm coming back to sit down. So I sit down, and if things are not in the proper place, because I had to move it, because I had to get up to do this and that and this and that. And when I sit down, I go, it should be right. It's not there. It's not there. I think, okay, it can't be here because I have an obstruction, so it must be over here. And since it's not over here, it's got to be over here. Okay. And so I start looking over here. And then I think, now, wait a minute. It's always to my left when I leave and come back. It's always to the left. So I start looking over here and realize, no, darn it, I've got this foreshortened little side on the right. So I can't have it on the left and put that down. I have to go and put it on the right. So I look up the right again, and it's right here. So that's the way my day works. Um, purposefully. Yes, there is a purpose. There's a madness to methods. There's really no method to madness. Not as far as I can tell yet. I mean, really. My ears itch. You're just. Now, at first, I thought I was having an allergic reaction to something because when I have an allergic reaction, my ears start to itch, my face starts to swell up, and my ears were just itching and burning. And I was like, darn it. Now I'm going to get an allergic reaction on top of everything else. Well, didn't have an allergic reaction, but my ears itched, bleeding. I could just show you. I just ripped them open here and in the front, just scratching. And I shouldn't do that because, yeah. So I'm wearing red. Kind of just, you can't tell the difference. Now, I'm not necessarily a plaid person. It's just the flannel generally comes in a pattern of flat. I don't know why. Um, I like flannel. I don't particularly like plaid. I just it doesn't suit me. I mean, I'm not a lumberjack. Okay, honestly, I've watched enough Monty Python to know I'm not a lumberjack, and that's okay. It's okay if you can't be a lumberjack because you just sleep all night, and work all day. But I don't work all day, and I don't sleep all night. I kind of, it's midnight, and I'm just getting started. Um, but I'll be back up at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. I got an appointment. I'm gonna try and get a Mustang. It looks like I'm not gonna get that GT 350. It's a little out of my price range, apparently. But I'm gonna get a nice base model. It'll have 300 something odd horsepower, which is more than enough for me to play with. I'm a big boy now. I may be having a midlife crisis, but I'm all cool about it. I'm more into cruising and showing off here or there, but mostly um, it's more about what I learned when I was in Europe about driving. Now, in Europe, you are required to take this huge course. 200 pages to get an Italian. Now, you can get an international driver's license and circumvent the Italian and the German uh, DMVs, I guess. Um, yeah, DMV, and get away with it, but you can't get insurance at a reasonable rate. at all. And you have to take out trip insurance, which costs you every time you decide to go for any. Now you have your local insurance, but if you go outside your local area, you have to have trip insurance, which gets on top and top and top. Unless you go through the entire course, 200 questions, and a rigorous driving course that is not defensive driving. It is taking charge and making sure you're not the problem and you're not going to be part of the problem. It is definitely something that the U.S. Americans in general could really learn. First thing is you color inside the lines. You remember when you were a little kid and they said color inside the lines? Now you're an adult. Drive inside the lines. If you can do that, that will reduce so many accidents, especially pedestrian or bicycle related accidents. Don't cut those corners. You know, you don't go into the bike lane. If there's a bicyclist there, you're going to kill him. How are you going to feel? Just because you can't play right. You can't play well with society. You need to be put away. And maybe 3 to 5 for manslaughter. It'll tell you a thing or two about what you're doing wrong. Okay. Paint inside the lines, people. It ain't that hard. I mean, that's why they're there. Okay, you can have a whole lot of fun inside the lines. Let me tell you something. Trying to stay inside the lines at 60 miles an hour going down First Avenue, that's fun. But I stay inside the lines. I never cross the line. And anybody who's ridden with me, especially the Grays, just that's why I have to get a stay. The Camaro, God rest her soul, my 67 Rally Sport, iridescent orange, the great pumpkiness herself, God rest her soul, was my first love. And I've always had a place in my heart for a piece of Chevy here or there, a Camaro hole, as it were. My friends, that's what they called it, because they were jealous. It was a cool car. Slow as a dog, but cool looking car. So I was thinking, I get a Camaro. Well, I rented this Camaro and it's horrible. So I went to the dealership and thought, maybe they just put regulators on this and you can't do this, you can't do that. No, the Camaro's dead. I've heard rumors that they're going to end it in a couple of years, and God, thank you, God, if you do that. You can't make the car anymore. Don't freaking make the car. I'm Ford now, for only racing downhill, fucked over rebuilt Dodge, found on road dead, first on race day, stuff like that. I won't get into what a Pontiac is. I think a lot of you know that, and that's why let's see, Ford, fucked over rebuilt Dodge, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. That happens when you. So, one of the things I've thematically, with this, what I'm doing here, thematically, 707-666-2492. Anybody, please, ever. Nobody has ever called. Now, I've seen that some people have actually watched these darn things. Okay, not only on Facebook, but on YouTube. You have to look me up, J. Thomas Brown, or I'm the interpreting phone jack. That's my titles now, is interpreting phone jack or J. Thomas Brown. I've had views there. Okay. Nobody calls me. That's my bitch. That's my particular little area of expertise. This is why I've gotten thrown in 5150 a couple times by my family, is for asking this and this alone. I'd like somebody to call me. And all those of you that will, put out there on Facebook and stuff, you can always call me. Don't you get what I'm saying? Take time out of your fucking day. Okay? Because I got all time. I got all nothing but time. So I don't want to call you with something that's probably pretty damn trivial, but it means something to me. And I'd like to talk to somebody. I really would. I've given up talking to people. This COVID-19 working out fine for me. I don't have to talk to one person. I don't have to deal with one last emotion because nobody calls. I talk to my loan officer and my realtor more often than anybody else, except for Ray. Ray calls me every day, rain or shine, especially if it rains, because he knows when it rains it hurts me. Not as much anymore, not much at all. Just that 33-year-old left side from jumping out of airplanes for 12 years. I don't mind that pain at all. That's like, oh, that aches. As if, And this is another reason that I think you should call me. I've got a good story. If you happen to be news media, I'm actually channel 28. Well, it is Napa Valley TV. It is Comcast broadcast on channels 27 and 28, 199 on AT&T, and then all over the damn place. You just have to scan us in, and at napavalleytv.org. We're back open for business, limited, full restrictions on our, in effect. And I myself am going to be going and start putting out these, except more direct and local to Napa itself. Now, all my aspirations for what Napa could be, let's just say that seems to be no real interest in my little social experiment. So we'll put that to the side for right now. Right now, I think I need to focus on what I need to focus on, and that's getting a date. And like I said last time, I am legendary for if I say something, that's the way it's going to be. The best example is high school, teenagership. Okay. I decided early on, because of things that I had seen, heard, and experienced myself as a young child, that teenagers were not responsible enough to be having children. Teenagers were not smart enough in the least. I had predetermined this well before my teenage years because I was smart and I could do things like observe, put two and two together on my own without having to be prompted by a piece of paper. And I found out real fast what it was all about. So I've always, well, I lost my train of thought again. No, I didn't. Basically, in high school, I said, I'm not having sex. When I'm a teenager, I totally not doing it. Now, when I was young, my mom was excellent. That's very good. When I turned to teenager, she's like, yes, I agree with you entirely. You are the smartest of teenagers when you say that. I said, yes, I am. Now, my 20th birthday was cool. I went insane after that. I lost for about 4 or 5 years. I was everywhere. Then I went in the army. And that's a whole fun story too. My God, I've got stories just to share. And I doing it on this platform with you um, is like whomever you may be, is cathartic. Um, it gets a lot off my chest. Over the past month, I think you've seen progression from month and a half, just from sheer despair to the highest of joy to the highest of despair again to the worst of things happening because the best of things is absolutely best of things has happened to me. Thank you, God. Don't stop believing. Everything is everything. You now return to your regularly scheduled program. Me. Now, there's some girl out there looking at this, going, he's pretty cute, but he probably wants this and this and this. No, as I've explained before, my basic need is for a snuggle bunny. I don't need a fuck buddy. Wouldn't mind one. However, I need a snuggle bunny. That is my basic need. Now the cat's cool. He'll snuggle right up with me and get under the covers if I'm. I don't think I'm gonna be under any covers tonight. Even though I do, I honestly I wear so that I'm actually warmer. Yeah, because it's like 68 degrees in here after being almost 80. 'Cause I don't use the AC unless it gets over at 80 indoors, and where I live, that doesn't happen very often. So I don't use it very often. But and my whole attitude towards sex as a teenager is exactly what my whole attitude towards dating is right now. I don't need to be having sex for a real relationship to start out something true and real. Now, it may go from snuggling to sex quickly, depending on who it is and why we're doing it. There are those that it could just jump right into it and still turn into the most wonderful of any relationship ever. You know, I never thought I'd be in this position, which is interesting. And I say that with all due respect to my ego. Um, I never thought I would be in this position. And honestly, no, I never thought I would ever be in this. This is the first time I've ever been single. I mean, without a girlfriend, steady, you know, just, oh gosh, I can't think of how long it's been. Um, but I did the May 15th of 2019. So it's like coming up on a year that I've been divorced, and I really haven't had a steady girlfriend. Haven't had sex. I've come nowhere near. even thinking about that sort of thing. No, that's not what I need. That's not what I need. And I assure you, if you come over here, that's what you're going to hear from me. That's all you're going to get from me. You will have to make the first move, and you may be turned down cold. So assess the situation properly. That's all I'm saying. But mm, 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 mm. I'm I'm honestly ready. I believe for someone to be in my life. I like I said, I don't need heavy sex. I need a snuggle buddy that's willing to hang around. For more than a couple weeks here or there. Doesn't work for me. And you don't have to move in immediately. I mean, if you like it around here, there's a big dresser, a big closet. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's just a walk-in closet or anything, but it's a good 4 feet by 6 feet, 6 by 4, easy, easy, yeah, inside, easy 6 by 4, plus shelves on top and everything else. You know, racks for more. I don't take up much space. Now my coins take up all the space, and that's where I would have to make concessions, but that would be easy. I would just put all my pennies in a drawer, put all my silver in a drawer, and then all my fun collectibles in a drawer, as opposed to having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drawers committed to coins. I could break it down to 4 because I need 2 deep and 2 regular, which would be just that center rack or the end rack there. I think the end rack has much more room. But it's things like this that I think of now that I've got set in my ways here. That I've got like I'm lazy now. I am way lazy. I love it. The VA still hasn't caught up with me and said, "Okay, well, I guess you're better. We're going to take everything with it." They won't. They can't do that. But they can take away the home aid that I'm receiving. Like today, she came over and I I had gone to the store to get more cranberry juice. I've just got totally into cranberry juice. Speaking of which, I've been talking too long without drinking cranberry juice. What the heck? I'm just making a mess of everything here today. Can't log on to accounts. Can't figure out what passwords are. And I've got the book in front of me where all my passwords are written. And when I talk to the people, they're going, you're just getting a letter wrong, or you're not capitalizing. And I'm thinking, oh man, I'm so sorry. And they're like, well, what can we do for you? You know, because that's the point I'm at sometimes as of late, because of all of being sick and everything, and then everything great that's happened. Did you know today was the most beautiful day ever? Ever. I've never experienced a more beautiful day in my life. All right, now we're working. This is cran cherry. Hmm. Cran pomegranate comes real close, but cran cherry is just smooth and I mean, better. I'm starting to finally gain weight. Finally. Oh man, I was down in the 120s, which that's eighth grade. Okay, ninth grade. was when I hit 120, ninth grade. So I remember I was wrestling, and I went from like weight class of like 89 or some freaking low thing to 102s. And I remember wrestling 102s for about a month, maybe two. Then all of a sudden I was wrestling 123. And I was the smallest guy at 123s. I mean, I'm 5'6", and there's these guys almost 6 foot tall at 123. I'm like, well, what the heck's wrong with this picture? And I was like, okay, whatever. I figured I had the advantage because they had to grab me, and I was small, and I had a lot of them to grab. And so it happened that way a lot of the time. I was decent at it. I never could beat what's his face. Oh, dude, you always got me at Franklin. The dude just, I can't remember his name. And it was always like every time I wrestled him, he'd just get me. He's just, and I'd watch him. And he was good. I mean, this was when they had Police Activities League wrestling. I had some friends who were in that very heavily. And that's how I got into it. And then I got into it in junior high school. But my goodness, I can't remember the dude's name, but he was good. He was good. And I never could beat him. And it was like, but I don't know. I wish him well. I hope he still can wrestle the hell out of somebody. Dennis? No, it wasn't Dennis O'Donnell. I don't think it was you. Was it you? Dennis O'Donnell. Could be. Could. All I remember is it was just, it was always just by a little bit. And and I'd relax for just try to move and you pop. I don't think it was because Dennis the bowler? There's another one who was a really good bowler. I don't remember. Dennis O'Donnell was good at so many darn little things that I couldn't. So I really, I mean, I in eighth grade, ninth grade, I went from a little to pretty buff and burly until I got to high school, which I hit the 140 mark. After high school and college, I hit the 145 to 148 mark. Now this is pure muscle. And then in the army, I had my ultimate weight of 155, which was a little heavy, but it was a good starting weight if I had to do large distances on my own. You always want an extra 5 pound, 5, 10 pounds on you just to begin with. If it's going to be longer than a week, so I would bulk up to 155 of just, and then burn that muscle for a couple weeks because you don't eat a lot. You don't have many opportunities for a lot of proteins. What you have is a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of starches, and proteins. You got to have those proteins, but you don't have the high value proteins. And so that's one of those things that you try and bring along, or try to make sure that you can include. Now, a lot of guys, what they would do is they would hunt with wrist rockets. That's all fine and dandy. If you miss, you're in a cadre area, okay? You're in a testing area. So there are people there that are supposed to be there watching you to ensure your safety. And if you got some Yahoo out there with a wrist rocket, I mean, if you have a registered crossbow, that's a different thing. Because a crossbow goes, wrist rocket goes, free, and you don't really know where it goes. I mean, I know some guys that are really good with those things. But come on. Let's be honest. When it comes to actual weapon, crossbow. Um, anyway, I don't know why I got off on that, but oh yeah, guys hunting in the field. Now I would do fishing. I would also do catch hunting. A lot of catch hunting is done at night. You get up in a tree. You get these artificial. You make kind of a hunting blind thing, whatever thing in a tree, hunting stand. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, you get up there and you just totally quiet, and you wait for an animal that you want to come underneath you. You've got your knife. You just cut yourself loose, drop down, and now I never was able to get it right, but to watch it done, it's just amazing. Now I've taken out animals and I've killed them and eaten them, mostly really small ones, and using that method is rather difficult and obtrusive. I used netting almost exclusively to fish and to catch a lot of fowl, a lot of birds. So you know that's more my style. Um, That's how I like to provide protein. Insects too. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful little pieces of protein. Every last one of them. Grasshoppers. They don't taste that bad once you get into it. Now, if you can collect them, cook them, they're wonderful. You take a little seasoning salt, Lowry's, fry them up. Oh, man, that's some good stuff. And you could even take and do your batter thing, a tempura or whatever. Let me tell you something. Grasshoppers properly, well, you can bake them, you can fry them. I like them fried, deep fried, personally. Um, Now, everybody's a chocolate covered grasshopper. Yeah, it's a novelty. It's actually pretty gross. Okay, because they usually give you a bittersweet chocolate that doesn't fit what you're eating here. This is a grasshopper, okay? This is Jiminy Cricket. I want some milk chocolate. I want to have some chocolate ice cream on that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, I think I'm being demonstrating here a reasonable succession of responses over a period of time as to show that my level of sanity is at least within a range of that being manageable. Um, it's very manageable right now. Very manageable. It's even better than that. It's very nice. I feel that everything that I'm doing right now is correct. I'm following my doctor's orders. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't do it. And I don't. I ask for nothing. They give me what they feel I need to take, and I take it. With the exception of multiple sclerosis medications, I don't take those anymore. I don't need to. Um, they still haven't figured that out. I'm still working with them on trying to get this whole multiple sclerosis thing struck from my records, or at least acknowledged correctly that I'm at this point now where I no longer technically have multiple sclerosis. Technically. Now, there are things, markers, indicators that go, well, there might be something there. And when they do further tests, they can't figure out that there's anything there, which is exactly the same as they did in the first place, but they found something there. And something happened. Something big happened there in the first place. So that's that. I think the other time I explained the difference between girls, women, chicks. Uh, Now, chicks include bitches, which is fine. To be in the chicks category, it's better to be in that category than the girl. Because if you're just a girl to me, you're just a girl. You know, then you can be a random chick, which is fine. In fact, some of my greatest loves have been random chicks that out of nowhere, and in 2 weeks of absolute bliss that you knew was going to end in 2 weeks. You knew it had to because you were different countries. You didn't even speak the same language at all. She spoke Yugoslavian. I spoke English, some German, some Italian. She spoke some Italian. So we got by with Italian. Then I found out she knew French. Now, I don't know French at all, but it's one of the Romantic languages. And transferring all that from a Slavic language into a Romantic language, I could pretty much keep up with what she was trying to do. And she could keep up with me rather easily. English is apparently spoken so much that it's easily understood. Uh, she just never had a particular need. She was taking French at the time. She had already taken, um, what had she taken? Russian. She wanted to be an interpreter. So she took, these other languages, and she was currently doing, what was it, German? No, it was Italian. Because if she'd have done German, we'd have been able to speak fine. But Mara Bogahara, it was 2 weeks. It was intense. It was Carnivale. She lived in with the former Yugoslavia, Slovenia. She lived in the capital, Ljubljana. And every time we went there, we would slip away. Oh, I mean, sometimes I'd just go there and slip away with her. I mean, for 2 weeks, it was so intense. It was so beautiful, dude. If you just could have seen it, it would have been like a movie. One of those movies you see on the Italian Riviera, literally on the Croatian side. I mean, on the Czechoslovakia side, on the Italian side. That little right in between. I can't remember what it is. It's on my map, but it is just the most beautiful thing you could ever want to see. Uh, Secondarily, second, second only to which is my view here right now, which I went down to the Queen and I wrote on the back of all my business cards, I wrote, you know, come on over here. All I have to offer you is a great view. Gave my phone number, and it was on my business cards, and most of them have at least dealt with uh, me in some way or another when dealing with channel 27 to 28. Um, I'm a little snoop dude. I like to check my own facts. Fortunately, James Raymond is the one person that I no longer check facts on whatsoever. And that's saying a whole damn lot because I check myself on facts all the time. But if James Raymond says it and he's written it down, if it looks totally fucked up, it probably is. He made a mistake. Typo. Otherwise, if it looks fantastic and unbelievable, believe it. We went from having nothing to having millions. I mean, millions upon millions of dollars for public access, for freedom of speech. There's some shit out there that people put out on public access that they can't put anywhere else, not even on public broadcasting systems, because they have decency laws. Public access has no such creature. We go with pretty much as long as you're not a danger to yourself or another or making specific threats. You can rant on all you want. That's your First Amendment right. All we're going to do is if it gets to the point where it's abusive language or language that is just too inappropriate for anybody at any point, especially for a requested time slot or even a thrown away time slot like what 2:30 in the morning or whatever, which is that's not too far. Now sometimes I just tune in to see what the heck they got going on, but I'm gonna start doing more shows again. My stage name, um, my pen name is J. Thomas Brown. So everything I do here under interpreting phone jack, um, entitled interpreting phone jack, is also on YouTube, and there's more on YouTube. I go into some interesting things on YouTube that I don't share here on Facebook, just because that there are certain people on Facebook I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't want you to fucking know. Okay, you're out of my life. Okay, you crossed the line. You're fucked out. Okay, unless you join me on YouTube, get to know who you fucked over a little better, and then talk to me. I'm willing to forgive. You just got to ask for forgiveness. Realize that you did something fucking wrong and say, hey, dude, I screwed up. Hey, we're all good. I don't know why I gulp. I always have. I really just, I don't like to sip. Not a sipper. Okay. I've gone on long enough. Once again, my phone number is area code 707-666-2492. I am Tom Brown. I am the Prince of Darkness. I will. Oh, I can't say that on Facebook anymore. Okay. I was gonna go in, but I can't say that on Facebook. So again, the titles of all these things are interpreting phone jack. If you actually call and ask why, I'll tell you. Otherwise, fuck off. Um, again, this is what I've edited for Facebook. Um, Self-editing, not I didn't actually. I can do that on this, but do I have the skills? Yes. Do I have the time? Yes. Do I fucking want to? No. So I do two different ones. One, this one will go on both YouTube and Facebook. But if you go over to YouTube, look up J. Thomas Brown, and the title is always going to be Interpreting Phone Jack. You want to know why? You'll you'll hear more explanations on YouTube than you will ever hear on Facebook. Believe me. People on Facebook take things a little too seriously for my liking. I like my reality is it ain't that nothing really matters. And what if it fucking did? What if it really fucking mattered? Can't do a damn thing about it. You're sheltering in place. So what you do is you make the best of it. I don't know. Some people just I don't get. And this whole toilet paper thing, now it's getting out of hand. Now communities are getting their whole everything fucked up because people are using paper towels for toilets and it's clogging up the sewer system, and they're using all this other stuff and everything else for toilet paper because nobody wants to use the toilet paper because they're all full of shit. And I don't know where, normally there's enough toilet paper for the entire earth to the point where they have to make commercials. Putting out commercials in the toilet paper industry right now should be considered an insult to supply and demand. Okay? They're not really supplying, but there's a whole lot of demand. Advertise? You're going to buy every last bit of what I can make. What do I need to advertise? You're addicted to toilet paper. So, here's the thing. If you wipe your ass with something other than toilet paper that is biodegradable, what you need to do is get your stinky ass off that thing and put it in a bag, in like a diaper bag sort of situation. Sort that sort of clean pail with liner, and then properly dispose of it in the proper container because everybody else at the other end has to deal with it and it gets clogged up in machine parts. So just follow the instructions, okay? I'm learning this. I just got schooled today on a whole thing. I'm like that I was unsure about, so I just went with what made sense. Well, they don't do what makes sense. They want what they do want. I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to do with these little plastic bags things. That now they don't give you paper anymore. Well, first it was like no plastic, which is great. I like paper, but now it's like no paper. What the fuck? Are paper products that scarce now? Anyway, I may have to just make my own toilet paper. It's not going to be as good, but it'll be biodegradable. Maybe I'll show you how to do it, but it's not very nice. It involves stanky, uses toilet papers that the natural enzymes start to break down uh, the bonds between the fibers of the paper. If you have hemp, it works really nicely, really quickly, and hemp. We all know the benefits of hemp, but of course, the United States government has decided that even hemp, which is a product that does not get you high, because of the fact it is associated with the marijuana plant, because the Mexican workers that came across the border brought it with them, the United States government decided it had to be outlawed because these Mexicans were enjoying themselves with this thing that they could not tax, they could not regulate, they could not make money off of because it was a weed. And the entire hemp industry died because of that. Guilt by association, buddy. And so they're trying to make a comeback in the hemp industry, and I gotta stop it. This is more than long enough for Facebook. Please, I need a date. My name is Tom Brown. I'm a very nice guy. Okay, I'm not gonna pressure you for sex. What I am gonna pressure you for is a little snuggle bunny. Okay, that's it. After that, you can have my world, and my world's a beautiful place. If you come over, check it out. I can guarantee you may not leave, or not all of you will leave. You're going to leave some of your a little bit right here. You're going to leave a little bit right here. Let me tell you something. No matter what, they all do. So I really want to tell somebody, hey, I love you. I've just been thinking about you today. That'd be the coolest thing to say. Let me say it to you. Cool. Love you. Bye.